Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jer. We are going to be talking about Canada's Drag Race Season 4, Episode 5. This is the Snatch game! Ooh, I've been so excited for this episode because of all the drama. I could not wait. God, this was a good episode, and my God, did it deliver. I am not disappointed whatsoever. If you did not watch this episode, you're missing out on some of the best television. Tensions are super high in the workroom. Everything is so tense based off what happened last week in Untucked and then on the runway. You can feel the heat still coming off of Amy and Nira as they just literally battled on the runway. And Melinda feeling so hot about being saved that she literally couldn't even remember Kiki's name. Just kept saying, that person! And then them all being mad that she wants to leave. And then everybody stepping on Melinda again after she already felt awful, and then snapping. Melinda Verga is such good television. Y'all can't even take her. This woman is feeling her goats. And I'm obsessed with what she's giving us. This is classic Drag Race. This is like early season Drag Race. This is stuff that we've been needing for years, but all the US girls are so afraid to give it, and I'm glad that the Canada girls are not afraid to go there and give it to us, because my God, are they giving. This whole fight was such good television, and I could watch it 100 times just as I did the lip sync from last week because it was so good. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. We start out with the reading challenge, which I was pleasantly surprised at how much funny content was in there. I also could not believe that Brooke came from Melinda's wigs in the reading challenge. I didn't think that Brooke would have participated in the reading challenge, especially against a contestant, but I think she was probably feeling a certain way after Melinda basically told her that she felt like Brooke was giving unfair critiques and kind of shaded Brooke pretty hard last week. I don't even know if it was shade, just threw a lot of dust in her direction. And I think Brooke was probably like, let me get this girl back and let her know who's the head honcho here, who's the real Queen of the North. They're just pretending and maybe get a crown. They're not the Queen of the North, I am. That was fierce to me. Denim was so much funnier than I anticipated. I really loved them talking about their autism and being on the spectrum. And I thought this was such a magical conversation for television that you would never see in a mainline season. I'm sure that there have been many queens that have been on the spectrum. I'm positive. There's no way that a queen has come through this show and has not been on the spectrum. There's no way. There's a lot of people on the spectrum, myself included, who are in the world, and we exist. I am really glad that this is someone who was not afraid to talk about this. This was an important conversation, I think. But I love that Brooke is actually caring about these contestants. For the most part, she's not someone who should be giving comedy advice. I felt like her criticisms were really valid, and it felt like she was really trying to help. And that's what I love about Brooke as a judge, is that you can tell that she has the best interest of the contestants in mind, where you can tell that maybe a certain judge of a mainline season might not care so much and is really only looking for ratings. So the Maxi Challenge is Snatch Game, and I was so ready for this to be a bomb. I was ready for it to not be funny. I was ready for it to be bad. I was ready for it to be a clunker. I was ready to be disappointed and to just cringe the whole time. Surprisingly, I don't think I cringed at all. I think there were a couple points where I thought, oh, I wish you had been funny, specifically with Aurora. Even Luna, who didn't really do anything, was sort of in the same vein to me as Priyanka in her season, where she was just kind of there, breathing, but wasn't contributing anything. That's how I felt about Luna. She looked beautiful, but she didn't do anything. Venus as Joe Exotic was so funny. I loved that she didn't know what the Second Amendment was. I loved doing such an exaggerated character on TV. I feel like someone recently did Joe Exotic, and it wasn't funny. I don't remember who it was, but I feel like somebody did the Tiger King, and it was whatever. Melinda as Manny Pacquiao was so funny. I was expecting her to be funny. I was expecting her to knock it out of the park. I was expecting her to do the most, and that's what she did. I loved the idea of taking a homophobic character and turning them into a closet case, because there's a reason why people act like that. There's a reason why people who are homophobic act so violent. And I feel like taking that character and making them fruity and sort of subtly flirting with Brad and Brooke really pitched up the comedy of this character. Because like Tracy said, it could have gone really dark and violent, and it didn't. and such a lovely juxtaposition to what Monet did with Mike Tyson. I think it was Mike Tyson doing this like really very sort of hyper masculine, super aggressively gay homosexual boxer, where Melinda sort of did this subversive, quiet, definitely fruity, but trying to pass it off as something else. Amy playing the Jesus character, I'm almost positive that someone just did this in Down Under. I didn't watch that season, but I think I remember seeing it, and I remember seeing a clip where they played like a really flamboyant homosexual Jesus. And that's basically what Trinity did in All Stars, is like a gay Satan. And that character's funny. It just doesn't require like a lot. The joke is that it's a character that you know, but they're different than the version you know. And that's kind of where the joke stops. And then you just be bombastic the rest of it, and it's funny because you're being bombastic. It wasn't bad at all. I thought it was funny. It's just not anything super unique and new. So for me, it was like a safe performance. And then Luna as Miriam Cosby was just... Fart City. Just dud after dud after dud, and she might as well have not been in the room. But it wasn't cringe, it was just boring. Then Aurora as Emperor Zhao Bing was a choice. I feel like anytime people have done kids on Snatch Game, it's been really hit and miss. Like I think of a really famous disaster, which was Blue Ivy, right? And that was not good. And that's only funny for so long. And if your plot line is that you died by being thrown off a cliff, I feel like you would want to make a lot more jokes about how you didn't die. You could even reference Kennedy Davenport and say that you didn't die, you crystallized, and then you became a cultural bitch ready for the Snatch Game. I feel like you could talk more about kids' toys that you don't have access to. Why can't you just play with your toys? Why can't you have your bottle? Is it nap time? I feel like there's jokes. Not being able to connect with adults at all, doing something really silly that only a child would do, like ripping up the card and making like a pile out of it and saying, oh, I don't remember what it was, but I made this for you. And then you've got like something silly, like a little paper man that you've created, and you're like, isn't it cute? Don't you like it? And then maybe you like do one cry bit and that's it. I think of a really good example of playing a child was when Eureka did Alana. And I thought that was so funny because she just drew pictures all over it and then drew pictures on herself and then just made jokes at everybody else's expense. That was the way to do the kid thing, and it just didn't go anywhere for Aurora. Then we have the Jennifers. It was Nira and Kitten, and they both were Jennifer Coolidge. My favorite thing about the whole interaction when Nira was talking about why she should be Jennifer Coolidge, that Kitten grandstanded and talked about how Jennifer Coolidge has changed her life, and Jennifer Coolidge was the reason she auditioned for Drag Race, and how Jennifer Coolidge is this like huge gay icon for her and is the only reason why she's still alive today and doing what she does. And without Jennifer Coolidge, she would have quit drag 10 years ago. And without Jennifer Coolidge, the global economy would have shut down. Without Jennifer Coolidge, there would be no Snatch Game. Without Jennifer Coolidge, Brooklyn Heights wouldn't even have a career. Without Jennifer Coolidge, Melinda Verga would have gone home last week. Like, it was just this huge, long monologue that had nothing to do with why she should play Jennifer Coolidge, other than she identified with her. And if I'm being honest, I don't think her or Nira really hit it out of the park. I thought they were both very solidly safe. I was bummed that there was no joke of like, Rue, I think I'm seeing double. Oh no, it's just me. Or even being like, why is there an impersonator of me at this Snatch Game? I don't know. I feel like there are things that could have been done that were missed as a joke. Then Kiki Ko as Elizabeth Taylor was sort of just the same situation that was going on with Luna. She just was kind of there. I feel like she looked beautiful. God, Kiki looked beautiful. Her smile is just everything. God, I'm a big fan of Kiki, but she didn't do anything. She was just there, and that was it. And then finally, Denim is Julia Fox. I knew this character specifically and only because of the Z-Way interview, and I thought that Denim's characterization was so funny. I really loved the pube purse. I liked the makeup. I liked everything about it, and I was actually quite surprised and shocked that Denim wasn't in top 3. I wonder if maybe her other jokes just weren't funny, or maybe they really just wanted to push a kitten narrative. I don't know. I like Denim's performance better than I like Kitten's, and I would have placed that higher. So now let's get into the actual runway portion. And yes, we are gonna talk about Brooklyn Heights. She is so shady for keeping Melinda around just to show her what that outfit was supposed to look like. She claims that this was always planned to be here, and then it was just a coincidence. But I'm not buying that. I fully believe that she went and had that made and was like, I need this girl to know next week who she is meddling with. I see you, Brooke. I see you, and I don't buy your story. So the category this week is steampunk. And I wanna know, how do we have 15 seasons of US Drag Race, 8 seasons of All Stars, 5 UK, 3 other seasons of Canada's Drag Race, 3 seasons of España, 3 seasons of Italia, 2 seasons of France, 2 Down Unders, 2 seasons of Holland, a season of Germany, 1 Mexico season, a Partridge in a Pear Tree, and we have not had a steampunk runway. How is this a thing? Unless there's one that I missed, and I don't know if there has been. How have we not had a steampunk runway? This was such a great theme and I loved it. I thought everybody did really, really fun jobs at this. I thought there were a couple standouts, and I'll get into that in a second, but let's talk about the looks. Coming down the runway first is my absolute favorite look of the night, and this was by Denim. I love Denim's mind. I love how they work. This little fairy steampunk creature was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Denim is bringing conceptual looks every single week. I love the fact that the wings moved, the hat moved, all of these intricate construction pieces of this garment were so perfect. And the makeup was so cute. Everything about this was exactly what I wanted, and they did all of these girls dirty by letting Denim go out first. Denim should have been the last one that we saw, in my opinion, because Denim knocked this out of the park. Next, we have Kitten Caboodle, and you know, this was really cute. This was a pretty standard, like if you Google steampunk on the internet, this is what you're gonna find. I really like the corset. I like the mask. There are a lot of really great details about this. There's a lot of really cute elements. It's very passable to me. This is what I would think of when you say steampunk. So I think on that end, challenge was accomplished. Next is Kiki Ko, and the neck up is really cool. I really love all the chains. I love the high pony. The makeup is freaking immaculate. The way this woman paints is so stunning to me, and I love everything that she does. This was kind of a miss just because it was so flat, and I wish the textile had something to it. Next is Amy Yonsei Chanel doing a very Latina steampunk look. I like that this sort of broke the mold. It felt a little more piratey to me than it did steampunk, but it was still really cute. The hair to me was the best part. I loved how smooth and seamless it was with these little ringlets coming off of it. I loved, loved, loved the goggle bra. Because when you think steampunk, you think those big goggles, right? And I love that she turned that into the bra and almost made the entire look as if it were the mask. I thought that was smart. I thought it was a very solid look, and because it stood out from the others, I thought it was good. Next is Near Enough, and yeah, this was a look. This is a medium look. It's very like saloon mistress, and I didn't really get like a lot of steampunk from it, but it was cute. I kind of wish that the textile had a little more interest to it, a sparkle, a pattern, a print, anything just to bring it to life a little more, but it was passable. Next is Melinda Verga, who, I mean, let's not mince words. This is a very simple dress, a very simple silhouette with some cute sparkles and shine on it, a very simple basic hat that you would find at any costume shop when you went to the steampunk section. The gloves were nice. However, what I think is most notable is the makeup. I want to talk about Melinda's makeup because I haven't all season. I've been very kind in not bringing it up. Melinda does not paint well on this show. And I'm sure that Melinda knows how to paint her face off the show. But on the show, that does not reflect. I love the eyebrows were actually brought up and out. It wasn't just this block right here, because that's what really, I think, draws a lot of clunky interest to this. And then she wasn't highlighting her face like this anymore, like in a big circle. She was highlighting correctly. There was a lot of really nice contour. Her lips weren't clown lips. They didn't come out to here. Everything was really solid about the look this week. I think dark colors look great on her, and I hope that this is sort of the aesthetic that she embraces for however much longer she's got on the show. Because up until now, it's been a little rough. Next, we have Aurora Matrix, who I think had one of my favorite props with this big spider thing on the back, and absolutely my favorite hair. This really geometrical hair with this bottle of green goop that was in it running down was so cool. I like a lot of elements to this. I like the boots. I like the straps. I think there's visual interest on the costume. It's not a flat textile like so many of the queens did. My pain point here is the skirt length. With a really tight pencil skirt like that, it's hard to really do much visual interest, but the length was odd to me and I didn't enjoy that. That was really the only thing, but like that's such a nitpicky deal. And it's really not that big of a deal because this was a solidly strong look. Perfectly in theme for what you think of with steampunk, and the hints of green even on the nails. Great detail. Next is Luna Dubois, who came out in a corset and some tulle fabric and called it a steampunk look. This hat you can find at the Goodwill any time of the year, specifically near Halloween. The mask isn't really that special. Everything about it is just really kind of low effort, low energy. It's nice, but I will say her body looks amazing. Her booty was incredible. Her skin is like melted chocolate, and she looked great for a different challenge maybe. And then we have Venus, who came out in this really immaculate look with this smoke coming out of it, which I thought was so fun. One of the few performers to do like a gag on the runway, which was to have this smoke coming out, which I thought added so much visual interest. Now the problem, and I'm sure many of you are already gonna know what I'm gonna say, is skinny people stuff. I don't love when someone who's really thin just comes out not wearing a lot of fabric and just kind of gets away with it because they're thin. Because I feel like if this were a full-figured or plus-size person, I feel like fans would not be kind to them. I feel like fans would rip this outfit apart if it were on someone who was fuller figured. Do I like from here up? Yes. I think the puff sleeves are great. I really love this neckline. I just wish that there was something from the end of the bralette to where the pants are. I wish that there was something, just something to connect it to that skirt, and I think it would have looked better. But, there's a big but, I think because Venus actually chose a color where not really anybody else did, I think it stands out as a really solid look. I just wish there was more to it. It's a simplistic, solid look. For me, I said I felt denim was the strongest on the runway and should have been rewarded with a top 3 placement for that runway because the Snatch game was pretty solid. I would have swapped out Kitten into just a safe placement, but I feel like they have an agenda for Kitten. I thought the bottoms were all really fair. They all made sense. I think that it was the way that it was supposed to be. As an aside, Jada was a lovely judge. I really loved her empathy when it came to judging everybody and to talking about Drag Race as a competition and what it is, and that they can all just sort of be easy on themselves for doing this and getting as far as they have and doing Snatch Game. I really loved her insight, and every time that I see Jada, I love her a little bit more. Fantastic judge, really great addition to this, and I would love to see her back. Melinda ends up winning the challenge, which I completely agreed with. I thought of everybody in the top, I liked Melinda's look better. I thought it was definitely a good change of pace from everything else we've seen. It showed a lot of growth and dynamicism. She's been great TV. That was a fantastic Snatch game, probably one of the strongest in a while. She ends up saving Kiki because Kiki saved her last week and she felt like she owed her something. Did I feel like Aurora should have been saved because of her runway? Yeah. But I also really like Kiki and I don't want to see her go home or have to lip sync. So, you know, I felt like it was definitely a strategy move. I felt like she wanted to kind of test out what Aurora's lip syncing was like. And I feel like she wanted to save her friends. And it just goes to show that this Golden Beaver is so much better television than we even realized. And I need this to be incorporated in other ways, in other franchises, because the drama potential, the television potential is so strong. And seeing Aurora and Luna lip sync was fascinating because Luna did pretty much the same thing she did the first time she lip sync, which was kind of park and bark. And that's a good strategy if you got a power ballad, but she didn't really embody the song, and that was a bummer. I thought Aurora did a really fantastic job. She kind of wiped Luna on the floor, walked over her body as if she didn't belong there, and then sashayed around, and it was fierce. I loved seeing Aurora perform, and I'm just so excited for more things that she does. I'm sensing that maybe she was really held together by Venus during that first improv challenge, because this was just, it wasn't it for her, unfortunately. And it was revealed that next week is a lip sync smackdown, which I'm so nervous for, because I feel like there's a very clear out, and that's Amy. I don't think that Amy is as strong of a lip syncer as the others. I feel like it is possible that Melinda or Kitten could go home. I feel like it's possible that Kiki could go home. I don't know how much of a possibility it is for Venus, Aurora, Denim, or Nira to go home in this style of challenge. But because there's two that are going home, likely because the double save, they have to accomplish sending one extra person home on top of whoever was normally gonna go home this challenge. It worries me and troubles my spirit because I don't know who's going to end up staying. I love this cast and I want to keep seeing them do well. And I want to see more of them. I don't want to see any of them go away, because at this point, I love, I've loved all of them since day one. There's not a single dud in this group. I'm just so nervous about what's gonna happen next. This next episode should be incredible and I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to hear y'all's thoughts about this one, because this Snatch game, this was great TV. This was great TV and everybody should be talking about it. I see people on the internet talking about it. Great television that's happening, great fashion, and I love it. Let me know what your thoughts are about this episode in the comments below. I would love to see those, and I will hopefully see you next time for another one. Goodbye. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.